Hey, Speedwinghere here, and today we're going to be taking a little look at some of the concept art for Fire Emblem Fates, as there were quite a few changes for some of the characters. I'd like to thank my favourite monkey man for bringing this to my attention. So, starting off, we have Takumi. He actually ended up having pretty much the same design, but he had red hair instead. Now, this would make him a lot more similar to his sisters, and would drive home the whole birthright family thing a little more. Honestly, I kind of like it. I feel like they should have gone with this. I wonder if they went with the grey hair instead, so that there was at least one of the siblings that looked somewhat similar to Corrin. Although, as we know, the secret letter, not actually siblings. Next, we have Reina. Look at this design. I really like the concept art for Reina. She had a pretty drastic change at some point, and I'm not really sure why. Perhaps they were going to keep the same personality and they were a bit worried that they would have another Peri on their hands. Or, you know, a Fae. Maybe when they knew Rajat was going to be in the game, they didn't want yet another Yandere cute character. She definitely looks a lot more like the traditional Pegasus Knights that we've had in the series, rather than what she is now. I was never a big fan of the scar on Reina's face. I feel like without the scar, her design would be a billion times better. Next we have Felicia. This has got to be my favorite one. Look at her. This is such a nice design. I'm not a massive fan of the throwing knives on the end of her hair, but the rest of it is so great. Oh, this is such a good design. Why did they not stay with this? I wonder if they were worried that the silver hair would be confusing with Corrin. But this is top tier. As if Felicia wasn't good enough. Imagine if she had this look. Now, from good to questionable, Peri. Now I'm not actually desperately against this. I think the colour scheme in the bottom left is a lot better than what we ended up having. That pompadour hair is, well, it certainly exists. I think Corrin ended up having this as one of her hair options, so they did end up using it in some form in the end. But yeah, I mean, Peri is Peri. I'm not sure she could have been saved with a different haircut, if I'm going to be real with you. Fun fact, did you know Peri has heterochromia? You never see this in game, but, you know, she wasn't quirky and special enough already. Midori! Now, I've always thought Midori looks too young and too much like a child, and while this concept art still, you know, is very obviously a young child, I much prefer this. It's a less cartoony round head with eyes basically taking up her whole face. Having the longer hair kind of frames it a lot better. I think this is nice. I'm never a huge fan of the child units, but I would have much preferred this concept art, to be honest with you. Oboro was gonna have short hair at one point. I kind of like this, but I guess it would have made her a little too similar to both Sakura and Hinoka, so they went with the ponytail in the end. Not a whole lot to say here, but I'm a big fan of short hair characters, so I feel like we should have more of them. We can see here that under Lilith's hat, she has pointy ears like Corrin. Now, they don't never showcase this in game as far as I remember, but it would have been quite nice to see maybe during the reveal that they're actually related. But speaking of Lilith, her design for dragon form is wild. Look at this eldritch abomination. This is a full-on Leviathan. Now, I wonder if at some point they had vague plans to make her a villain or a boss or something, because this just does not look like a design that you'd have for a friendly character that sits in my castle. Perhaps Lilith was meant to have a much greater part in the story than just dying because reasons. But this is really cool. And speaking of eldritch abominations, we have Anankos' original design. A lot more like a traditional dragon, although you can see in the bottom left corner they still wanted to have him open his mouth to reveal an eyeball. I kind of like this. I mean, it's very different to what we got, but I suppose perhaps part of Anankos' appeal is that he doesn't just look like another Medius, another Dreamer. He is a kind of free spirit dragon thing, you know? And there you have it. There's some of the concept designs for Fates. There's a lot of characters that had very similar designs to what we ended up getting, so I didn't really bother showing them. But I will showcase Baruka here, Baruka my beloved. She's exactly the same, but she doesn't have the headband. And honestly, I actually kind of prefer her without it. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you like this video and want me to show you some other concept art from other games, I'm more than willing to do that. Let me know down below. Until next time, I will catch you later.